morning. Hey, this is Rakesh. Today's we'll go through that how to design your the first technical architecture of your mobile application. We'll start with the mobile application first. In that point of time, that if you feel that you have any questions, okay, so please reach out to me in the question section. That okay, I'll try to answer it. So here today I'll cover that. Okay, for the that okay, if you are a technical lead and you want to architect your application, that okay, how you can think through how you can design your system, how you can design your application at that okay, 1,000 feet above at the high level. Okay, I'll give you that demonstrate you how you can think through, right? So here that okay, I have some topics that I'll show you that how to you logically design or architect, how you can logically architecture your application. Then the next is okay, high level solution architecture, then the mobile technical architecture, UI technical architecture, and all together. So I mean that in the subsequent session I'll give you that okay, the detailed information about all those topics. Today I will cover the topic 1, little bit about the topic 2, and then the little bit about the topic 3, and then in that subsequent session we'll give you the detailed information about the point 2 and the point 3, and then that okay, the rest of the pass, right? So let's have that okay, the proper design, how I can think about my logical the system, right? So guys, that okay, in that okay, yesterday discussion we come up with that okay, that the key notes, the key takeaway of that okay, yesterday discussion, that first you have to understand that okay, how many that system as a system you have, right? And then that okay, how you can think through that okay, how your system communicates, how your system works to that okay, to your application. All right, so let me draw something over here that will help you, right? So let me check that okay, whether the connection is okay. Yes, so connection is okay, and then I'm hoping that my it's a live broadcast. So let's see that the mobile, whether it's coming or not. So let me see, just give me 1 second. It looks like there's some problem in the technical part. Recording is going on, but okay, there is some issues in okay, so it's disconnected from that the live streaming. Okay, so let me check once again, right? So that if you are thinking for that okay, that your first architecture of that your application, so here I'll give you the basic fundamental at the fundamental stuff, right? You will understand that end of the this discussion, I mean the session, that how you can write your program, how you can demonstrate your program, right? Architect your system and all together, right? So even though that live is not working, so no problem, we can go through that okay, the recording, right? So guys, when you think through that okay, the mobile application, so first okay, you have to design that okay, how many the system as a system you have, so that's, and then there that okay, communication, there the connectivities, right? So all together, so here I have a section called that okay, one is that okay, the mobile. So I will design here that okay, one mobile component, right? Okay, so here I have a mobile application, right? So then you know that okay, the mobile application always take the data and then okay, request for the data and then push the data all together. So request and response, that means there is a database. So okay, so I have my database. So I will design that okay, my database. I will opt one, I mean that I can just load database just okay, for the demonstration purpose the one image. So my database, so here guys okay, your database could be anything. So whether that okay, your that okay, the MySQL, right, or that okay, Oracle, or that okay, the NoSQL, so anything. So don't bother about that okay, what sort of the database you are using here. So it's irrespective. So just assume that okay, you can plan for okay, any database. So that means that you have a system where your mobile will communicate with your database, right? But so guys, then here that okay, one thing that okay, you have to think always, my mobile application maybe is written in iOS, Objective-C, or the Swift, or maybe is written in the Android Java or Kotlin, or maybe that used as a hybrid solution like React Native, Xamarin, or anything. And my database is either that SQLite, right? It's basically the DB script. Both are the two different languages. So if you have the both two different languages, that means your mobile application will not able to communicate with your the database. So that means there is no any possible way where that your mobile will directly communicate with your database, right? So what we need is, so we don't need this communication here. So we need the one kind of the interpreter over here, right? So that interpreter you can think through something like my let's have a one examples like okay, for the time being that okay, my web server, right? So here I have a that okay, web application. Okay, so now again that okay, my web application is hosted over on premise or the cloud, AWS, Azure. That doesn't mean again it's written in the okay, whatever the language. Again my mobile application can't communicate with the web application as well. But yes, here that okay, one thing is that your mobile the web application can communicate with your database, right? So here that okay, you can design one line that yes, it may communicate with your database. Okay, but again that okay, my mobile is not able to communicate, right? So for that what we need is we need again the intermediate interpreter kind of the system that we normally call what we normally call as a web services. So web services for the time being, right? So now internally, okay, for that okay, understanding purpose I am explaining this part. So now that okay, so this web services could be written or that okay, a response in that okay, any format, the REST based, right, JSON format, string format, XML format. Okay, so now my mobile application can communicate to this this web services, and my the web services okay, it can communicate with my web application, right? So now that my web application will communicate to the database, so that means that my mobile application will request for some data, okay, and that okay, the web via the web services, and that will lend it to request it to the database, and then the web services is fetch, and then it will revert back. Okay, so this is a small, I mean that okay, abstract view. Now then that maybe that okay, the sum of that okay, the other system may be there, right? So what are those systems? So maybe that we can say here that you may have, okay, so let me post this to the little bottom part, or I'm deleting this one for the time being. Okay, so you can say that you may have some okay, some system like okay, I am just okay writing for some example here. So okay, Google Analytics. So basically you use that okay, some sort of that okay, analytics into your mobile application, right? So it could be anything. Okay, so then what? So just maybe that that okay, my mobile application could communicate with authentication, maybe with okay, the sum of that okay, Active Directory's authentication mechanism. Okay, it may hosted over somewhere, some servers, will discuss later. Okay, what else? Maybe that okay, my application communicate, my mobile application will communicate with okay, some of that okay, ERP system. Let's do anything, some ERP system within that okay, either the internal or the external or whatever, right? And then maybe that okay, some okay, some third party, some more, I mean that okay, some other let's suppose that okay, other okay, or that okay, many more okay, application. It could be anything, right? Now so basically this is nothing but you have some sort of third party, I mean external system, right? So the external system will also it will communicate okay. So all those that okay, your external system will communicate with your the system. So here it will be like this, right? You can design like this. This is just okay at that okay, guys, this is just okay, high level. So you can design like this, and then this all that okay, external system will communicate with your that okay, the server. Again, what the required here? So it's required here, maybe how that your third party system will communicate with your server, your web application. It may require some sort of what required, again that okay, some sort of the web services. So here you can say that is may require, let's assume that okay, the REST based APIs, right? It's required the API. So this is also okay. So here that okay, this web services is nothing but your sorry, your APIs. Okay. So now okay, so this you can define as a high level logical architecture of your system. So you can propose. So maybe that okay, if you think that okay, there is just assume that your mobile application may need some sort of hardware interaction. So in that case, you can design your system like this. So you can design your system like, so something like, okay, just to for the time being, that okay, my system communicates with some Bluetooth device, right? So that means that my some Bluetooth device, it could be anything. Let's suppose the POS machine, right? So it will scan and then it will communicate with your device, or some medical chip, right? Some sort of medical device that read your heartbeat and then send it to the mobile application, right? So then in this case also you can say that okay, there is a high level, just okay, mention that the high level, and then there is some way of the data transmission through that, okay, the file system or through the Bluetooth or so on. So this is not complete your that okay, high level you can say that okay, the logical architecture or logical solution architecture as well. Hope that you understand, and then it's clear to you. So let me redefine that okay, entire. So you have a mobile application, then that okay, mobile application may communicate with your the database that's required okay, this means activities, right? So now what are the next? So that the next is a high level the solution architecture. So here, so what I'll do is, so this is basically your the logical architecture, okay, somehow little closer to the solution. So I'll make a little more solution to what that. So now once you define that okay, entire part, then maybe that okay, so better that okay, you can logically group that okay, that everything. So how you can logically group that okay, everything? So that okay, you can take this pictures and then okay, then make it as a that okay, outline, that take a fill as a no fill, right? So now it looks like okay, there is a logical group between those two. So now here in this way, what you can do is you can define the now your the mobile component, right? So now as if you are the mobile application mobile architect, so you will concentrate on this part. If you are the DB architect, you will concentrate on this part, right? So if you are that okay, the backend architect, right, then you have to concentrate on this part, the web application part, and then this so on, right? So now okay, as a mobile application architect, so I'll showcase you that okay, how to design that that okay, the mobile architecture system. So now here you may use basically that okay, either that either that okay, hybrid solution, and then okay, that okay, the native solution, right? So either that way, either the hybrid solution or that okay, the native solution, how that okay, you can represent that okay, your mobile application. So how, what are the okay, things you have into your mobile application? If something is coming to the mind your mind, so it's nothing but a MVVM kind of okay, architecture, right? So if it is MVVM kind of architecture, let's define it. How to define that, how to architect your mobile application now. So what you have is probably you have a one presentation layer, right? So you have a presentation layer. So presentation layer. So here you can define that okay, this presentation layer is basically that okay, and BVM kind of that architecture, right? So okay, so you have the presentation layer sorry. Now So if you have a presentation layer, then what the next you have is you have a some sort of that business layer, right? So you have a business layer. I will explain you, right? Then what you have is, so then you have a the data layer, right? So you have a data layer, and then if you remember, then the whatever that get the rest, right? So you can group this three component together, right? As like this, you can group this component together, and then you can see, okay, so this is my high level mobile system, right? This is my high level system. So now my mobile, obviously my presentation layer will communicate with my mobile, my presentation layer will communicate with this, right? The business layer, then my business layer will communicate with the data layer, right? We'll discuss that what else, what are all those that. And then here you have nothing but you have basically the web services. So you called that the REST APIs, right? So now the REST APIs you have here. So then in the REST APIs you can say that my system will communicate with that those that the back end. So here directly you can say that back end, right? So here you have, okay, so here you have that the backend system now. Okay, so my mobile will communicate with the backend with the REST APIs. So now what are the things you will keep into the presentation layer, then the business layer, and then the data layer? So in the business layer, normally I called my all, okay, so I mean that at the simple at the high level I'll define you, I'll explain you that okay what are the things you will capture here. So at the high level I will keep my all those the logical component here as a module. So I have a module 1, okay, so I have a module 1, okay. I'll explain you that what is the meaning of the module 1 and all together. So let me fill this by something different color, right, so that it's clear. All right, and then that okay this then black, right? So now that a module 1 I have a module 2, right? Then I have a module here that okay I have the module n. So I have the n modules, so module 1, modules 2, and then the okay module 2 and the module n. What does it mean is, so I have the module 1. So here that okay the module 1 you can say here that okay the registration, right? Okay, so authentication, in fact authentication process. So then that okay here you can say that okay maybe that okay user profile, right? Then here you can say that maybe that okay the dashboard, something like that, okay. It could mean things, right? So you have to define that okay all those that okay your that okay business the layer. So in that yesterday, so I'll request here that okay please go to the yesterday session that okay where we define that okay what the components, I mean that okay, how that okay components and the modules are, I mean that okay mandatory and good to have that okay the clear picture. So once you will define that every modules over here, so while you will do that okay detailed architecture, it will give that okay the pleasure information, all right? So now then what are the things into the data layer? So right, so especially that okay when I'll design for the mobile application, then here I will consider for that okay, offline. so offline features, right? I'll consider that okay, anything related to the okay, local database. So local database, right? So anything that you will communicate with that okay, you store temporary data within your mobile application itself, right? And then your entire system will communicate with your backend and then get the data, and it will push and display to your presentation layer. Is that enough? So obviously no. So what else? So now again that here that okay, you have to think through that okay, what are the things is required for your application, right? So maybe that okay, it's required some sort of okay, it may require some sort of maybe that okay, internationalization. Okay, so it may be required some sort of the security, right? So you mentioned just okay as a security, right? It may require some sort of that okay, the localization. So just mention as a localization, right? Or that okay, anything that okay is required that okay, especially you can just define it, and then here you have to mention that okay, so this will communicate with okay your that okay, the mobile application. Okay, again that okay, just okay, you want the logical with the logical layer like this. Okay, so now this is again that okay, high level technical architecture of your mobile. So now you have to dig into that. So what the next? So the next is I have to define for my auth, right? So this modules. So here I'll erase that okay, everything. Then I'll say that I will define my authentication, right? So here I have a authentication modules. So here I have a authentication modules. So guys, it's a nothing but the step-by-step process. So how you can think through. See, once that okay, you are used to with that okay, that way that you can architect your system, you can design your system. Okay, so how you think through that okay, as an architect guys, or being an architect, how I can think about, I can think about my system, my requirement, the business requirement, and then how I will convert those business requirement or the ask to the architectural format or the system design. So now in this authentication modules, what are the things is required, right? So I can say that you have to write in this proper way, right? So in that modules, okay, I have something like okay, just 1 second. So what I'm saying is as of now I'm not I mean that giving the detailed I mean that proper I mean that design stuff, right? So I have that okay, one first is the login. Okay, that's fine. Then I have a logout. Yes, you have to think that okay, whether it's a requirement is there or not. So okay, so then I have the logout. Okay, then okay, so then what I have, okay, so in that the login, what sort of the login I have? So whether I have the token, I need the token, this requirement is the token. Okay, if okay, so then you have to capture it. Is that okay, encrypted login mechanism? Yes, you have to write it. Do you have that okay, registration? Yes. Okay, I will write that. Okay, then here you have to write what are the mandatory field is required, something like that. The name is required, email is required, mobile number is required, right? User ID is required, right? User ID is required, then the password is required, and then the confirm the password is required, whatever, right? So then you have to write that, okay, everything here. Then what else I need? That, okay, forgot password. Okay. So what else that, okay, in that, okay, authentication. So in this way you have to capture that, okay, all those details. So in the same way we have to create the detailed information for, so let's suppose that other modules like user profile, right? In the user profile, okay, what are the things I have to do? I can change my so let's assume that, okay, I can update my profile, right? Update profile. So basically it's nothing but a kind of the, like, a CRUD operation, right? So you can mention here that, okay, all those the CRUD operation, and then again that, okay, the detailed steps, I mean the information about the CRUD operation. Then, okay, so then what else? I can change my that, okay, photo change, right? Okay, the password change, right? And then sort of that, okay, my that, okay, the, let's assume that, okay, location change, okay, or that, okay, my username, I mean that, okay, that, okay, visibility is changed or something like, right? So then you can say that, okay, x y z, so you have to write like this. And then in the same way you have to define that, okay, the module ABC. So each and every modules you have to define in that way, right? So basically what we did here, that we did from I mean that, okay, when we think about that, okay, any technical design, any architectural design and the solution, so we have to think through that, okay, the logical architecture, then the high level solution, right? Then that, okay, the mobile technical architecture, then the wave app technical architecture, the backend technical architecture, database architecture, and then the so on. All right, so then we come up that how to design that, okay, the high level, that the solution architecture, and then where you cover that, okay, all those that, the building block of your system, what are the system is required, or what are the system is basically that, okay, involved for this mobile application, or that mobile application is communicated or will communicate with that, okay, how many system and what are the systems. So at that, okay, that high level you have to depict that, okay, all those the system, and then their communication, from where they are communicating. All right, so once you have done, then you have to define that, okay, your mobile high level the mobile architecture. So once that you have defined that, okay, the mobile high level mobile application, then you have to dig into that, okay, the component with detailed information one by one, right? And then that, okay, the so then there is a plenty of the, okay, other way. This is for the solution perspective. Then the next session I'll give you that, okay, how you can write that, okay, technical architectural document, right? And then that, okay, some other information in that, okay, subsequent session. So if you have that, okay, any question, any doubt, you can feel free to write comments on the boss. I'll try to answer in that, okay, the next videos. Hope guys that, okay, you enjoyed. So today we discussed that, okay, as a technical lead, if I'm moving for that, okay, or if I'm thinking for that, okay, become an architect. So to define that, okay, the system, to define an architecture, how you can think. So this is just, okay, step by guides and the process. Thank you.